Good evening, truth seekers, voluntarists, and anyone who still believes the remote control is the most dangerous weapon in the average American home. You are watching the Stateless Standard, where we treat official narratives the way Chuck Barris treated talent, with a raised mallet and no mercy. Tonight we dissect one of the strangest artifacts of Cold War America, the 1984 autobiography Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, in which television producer Chuck Barris calmly informs the reader that between 1965 and 1977, he moonlighted as a CIA contract assassin, racking up 33 confirmed kills while simultaneously inventing the dating game, the Newlywed Game, and the cultural war crime known as The Gong Show. Either this is the most audacious whistleblower document never taken seriously, or it is the single greatest act of performance art ever financed by a Simon & Schuster advance. Possibly both. Let's find out. Act 1. The Nobody Who Noticed Everything. Chuck Barris is born June 3, 1929 in Philadelphia to a Jewish dentist and a homemaker. A bright, awkward kid who discovers early that people will laugh if you give them permission to be terrible. After a string of odd jobs and one aborted attempt at a novel, he lands at NBC as a page, the lowest rung on the television ladder. His official duty: stand outside Studio 8H and make sure no one walks in on live broadcasts. His unofficial duty: watch the machine that manufactures American desires and figure out how to hijack it. By 1959, he's in Los Angeles, peddling a game show idea nobody wants. He finally sells the dating game to ABC in 1965. Format: 1 bachelorette, 3 hidden bachelors, innuendo thick enough to choke a network censor. It becomes a smash. Overnight, Chuck Barris is the Sultan of Schlock. But here's where the memoir takes a hard left into Langley, Virginia. Act 2. The Pitch. Barris claims that in late 1965, while chaperoning a dating game winner and her date on an all-expenses-paid romantic getaway to Helsinki, standard prize back then, he is approached in a hotel bar by a man who introduces himself only as Jim Bird. Bird allegedly slides into the booth and says, and I quote, "You travel on a U.S. passport to places we need people. You're invisible. You're a nobody, and nobodies, Chuck, are very useful." The offer: continue producing game shows by day. By night, carry sealed diplomatic pouches, receive dead drops in tourist sites, and when instructed, terminate enemy agents with extreme prejudice. Compensation: $500 per contract plus per diem. Barris claims he accepted because, and this is verbatim, "I thought it would be exciting, and I was bored out of my skull." Dry humor break. The Central Intelligence Agency, possessor of the world's most expensive surveillance satellites, apparently solved its manpower shortage by recruiting the man whose job description included asking couples how they made whoopee. Truly the era of big government efficiency. Act 3. The Alleged Body Count. Over the next 12 years, Barris claims he operates in Mexico City, Vienna, Berlin, Prague, and West Germany. Methods of dispatch include poisoned airline cocktails, a garrote wire hidden in a hollowed-out dating game question card, one particularly creative defenestration in Prague that required 2 takes because the window was stickier than expected. He writes about hiding bodies in steamer trunks, disposing of weapons in East German sewers, and once strangling a KGB colonel with a microphone cord while the unknown comic performed 30 feet away. The unknown comic, for those blessedly too young to remember, was a man in a paper bag over his head telling jokes so bad they qualified as psychological warfare on their own. Barris insists he kept score. 33 confirmed, a few probables. He never explains why the company would entrust multi-million-dollar black ops to a civilian whose day job required him to be on American television 5 nights a week wearing plaid sports coats loud enough to induce seizures. Act 4. The Evidence, or glorious lack thereof. Let's play everybody's favorite Cold War parlor game. Plausible, possible, or pure Barnum? Plausible elements. The CIA did use commercial cover for travel. Hundreds of proprietary companies, fake tour groups, even a missionary airline that dropped more than Bibles over Laos. A game show host flying contestants to Europe is objectively perfect cover. Barris's passport is littered with stamps from exactly the cities he names, on exactly the dates he names. The agency has recruited stranger people: a New Orleans bouncer, a Catholic priest, a famous French chef. A man whose resume reads professional embarrassment facilitator isn't the weirdest. Possible elements. By 1984, Barris is 55, twice divorced, deep into cocaine paranoia, and his empire is crumbling. ABC has canceled The Gong Show after parents finally noticed their children were watching a man in a tutu sing Feelings while being pelted with pies. Writing a memoir claiming you were James Bond's Jewish cousin from Philly is one way to get the phone ringing again. He provides zero corroboration. No code names that can be cross-checked, no locations of bodies, no retired handlers willing to go on record. When pressed by reporters, his standard answer is a shrug and, "If I told you, I'd have to kill you, again." Pure Barnum elements. The book is written in the same breathless, self-loathing style as Jay McInerney or Bret Easton Ellis, perfect for the 1980s literary cocaine wave. When Larry King asks point blank in 1984, "Did you really kill 33 people?" Barris laughs and says, "Larry, I can't even kill a houseplant." In a 2003 CNN interview promoting the Clooney film, he finally admits maybe 10% is true, then winks so hard the camera almost tips over. Act 5. The Metagong. Here's the part that keeps me up at night, and should keep any student of power awake as well. Scenario A. Chuck Barris really was a CIA assassin. That means the same government that can't deliver mail on time outsourced murder to a man whose most notable skill was making Americans humiliate themselves for a blender. That's not competence, that's performance art with a body count. Scenario B. Chuck Barris made the entire thing up and convinced publishers, Hollywood, and millions of readers that it might be true. In which case he executed the greatest psychological operation of the 1980s without a single dollar of taxpayer funding. Either way, the joke is on us. Because in both scenarios, the punchline is the same. The official organs of information, book publishers, newspapers, even the CIA's own spokesperson who called the book ridiculous, all reacted exactly as Barris needed them to. They amplified the signal. They kept the act alive. And 30 years later, George Clooney, Sam Rockwell, and Julia Roberts turned it into a major motion picture that presents the killings as factual in the based on a true story crawl. That, ladies and gentlemen, is narrative control so elegant it deserves its own gong, preferably made of solid gold and dropped from orbit. Closing torch. So the next time someone tells you that intelligence agencies don't have a sense of humor, remember Chuck Barris, the man who either murdered for the company or murdered the very possibility of ever knowing the difference, then died peacefully in 2017 at age 87, still grinning like he just heard the world's dirtiest newlywed answer. This is the Stateless Standard, reminding you that in a society where the court jester might literally be the court assassin, the only sane response is to change the channel entirely, preferably to one you control yourself. Drop your verdict below. Assassin, fraud, or both? Hit the like button if you now question everything you've ever seen on television. Subscribe for more golden torch illuminations of the deep state's blooper reel, and ring the bell so YouTube can't memory hole us the way Langley memory holed everything else. Torch lit? Gong optional. We'll see you in the comments.